For starters, this video is the whole spoiler of the game. The game is worth buying and experience at a very cheap price or when it goes on sale. So you either play the game yourself then come back to this, or continue watching it anyway because you are not interested in playing this game. Other heads up for you, this game is considered to be kinetic visual novel game, meaning there's no choice you can make in this game, you just progress through the game. Now without further ado, let's experience or re-experience for me and whoever that played the game before, which isn't much. One of the weirdest yet interesting visual novel game out there. You'll see why, I'll be the one explaining. This game consists of 3 separate stories. Start with Lingering, which unlock fragrance, which then unlock nothing. Lingering is a story of 2 high school couples who work part-time with bad wages just to save up for a virtual resort, which they will be visiting after they graduate and before their college years, which doesn't sound too bad and pretty basic, albeit with a hint of curiosity. Daisy is one of the main characters that show up frequently in all of these stories. In the first story, which is the one I'm gonna talk about, she will have quite a lot of screen time. This is pretty much the story about you and her together and how a high school couple decide to spend their days in a virtual resort, which they brought a ticket for the simple class, which is the cheapest one they could afford, for their last meeting, their last farewell, and unforgettable days and night. The story goes pretty linear. You started to pick up something weird along the way. The visual resort itself is the point of question. It's pretty much a simulated place for the rich and the wealthy. And it seems like the outside world isn't so pretty. Though I got to mention a key moment, like how they're on a bridge and the protagonist is going to pee himself. Of course, Daisy is against the idea of peeing into the water down below. That is actually quite funny. I guess it's a rom-com in a way. I forgot to mention something else too. I should have mentioned this earlier. Daisy has a habit of hacking you from the back. Whenever the protagonist mentions something about a breeze of air from behind, it's Daisy. This is a recurring theme throughout their stories. And after he finished his business in the restroom, he come back to the bridge looking for Daisy. And yeah, she attacked him from the back once again. I find this to be a pretty cute recurring moment in the game. Until the latter part of the game. But we'll talk about that later. They then visit the hotel, greeted by the maid that works there, and visit their luxurious room. The protagonist seems to like mentioning that the skies and ocean are fake. Daisy still adores them. They ponder for a moment there and decide to go ask the maid about various activities they can do around the resort, most of which cost money, which, well, they're high schoolers, but they got recommended to a fruit garden. It's part of their asset that come with the ticket. They get to pick the fruit, but not eating them in the garden. Each person can hold about 10 pounds of fruit or something like that. I don't know if this is an oversight or the translation part, but they are technically still in the garden and they ended up eating some fruit anyway. Daisy ate way too much and well, she need to get it out of her system. But our protagonist say, I've heard human feces are used as fertilizers. Daisy was like no and called for a robot to guide them to the toilet. Once again, she hugged him from the back. Then we go back to the hotel. She wanted to take a nap with him. They both talk about how girls sleep at noon to be cute, and he said that sleeping for 8 hours is normal for boys. But he said he'd be out for hours if he did take a nap with her, and it won't be a nap. So she just take a nap on her own. The protagonist though, he's curious about his girlfriend. He saw her panties before, accidental of course, but this motherfucker is curious as hell and decided to take a peek of her merchandise while she's still sleeping. Undo her skirt, unbutton her shirt. What, is this some kind of flirt? It's not. I'll say this is pretty weird, man. Without consent, well, this is a video game and these are fictional characters, but he got interrupted by the robot, asking him about turning on the sexual mode with a special perfume, which he denied. But the robot turns on the D&D mode for some reason. No idea what that means. Can I show this on YouTube? There is no nudity and I'm not encouraging like unclothing someone without consent. Fine, here. She said no balls while she did sleep. See? No nudity. Anyway, the guy goes downstairs to talk with the maid, asking her about college and stuff since she's past that and is now a working citizen of this country. He asked her for anything interesting nearby and he got recommended to a dessert shop. Upon entering the shop, he sees other people in the shop, mostly the wealthy and rich people, who eat their cake and, well, not finishing them. I'm getting personal here, but if you want to eat something, you ought to finish it. No waste of food, unless you're really full and you can't go for more. Otherwise, it's just bad. Anyway, I forgot to mention about nothing in this game. I consider this human being to be that of trash. He recognized the nothings when he was using the toilet after the fruit garden. The men's toilet is not well lit and, well, not exactly luxurious as the woman's, which prompted him to think about those rich guys who didn't finish their cake. The leftovers will be sent through a sewage system down to the land of nothings, pondering if the cake will go down and the nothing will enjoy it or not. It must be good if those rich men had them, right? Anyway, he bought a cake for Daisy, the one he can afford anyway. The sun is setting down and Daisy wants to go to the tower, but our protagonist isn't really up for it, so they ask the maid about any other activities. Turns out the hotel have a hot spring even for the cheapest ticket, which is part of the asset. He goes in and enjoys the onsen until, well, Daisy comes in. She got a towel, so I don't need to sense it, right? People can be too sensitive sometimes, but I guess that's what makes us human. Anyway, our protagonist freak out because he's completely naked. Daisy then proceeds to point out that he's shy, even though he did that to her in the afternoon. Unbutton her shirt. Turns out she was awake the whole time. Well, at least she's not mad, I guess. But she's also said no balls again, which will be a reoccurring phrase that she often used to our protagonist. A lot of things going on in the onsen, and at one point she dropped her towel, so let's just leave it at that. They go back to their room. For some reason, Daisy is missing a skirt. She's going to sleep like that? Can I show underwear on YouTube? It's still clothed, right? If this get age restricted, it get age restricted. If not, cool. Anyway, they didn't exactly sleep because his boiling rises up and hit him on the boots, which he got from the onsen. Daisy offers a massage, but then it all goes black. Waking up in the morning, it was implied that they had sex, intercourse. Good lord, could you believe it? But I am not going into details. The game goes into detail on that for some reason. For a game that has nudity tag at the Steam page, there's literally no nudity in the game. And by the way, I just realized that I pronounced the word literally wrong this whole time. It's literally. Call me a dick or whatever, but I'm going to pronounce it as literally. It's Charnyte dialect. Also, I forgot to mention that they did eat cake together. The one he brought for her, my mistake. And well, let's say that our protagonist mentioned something about secret video to her during the onsen, I believe. And she said that not just boys that watch them. When she was asked how she know to do all that last night. This bring me back to middle school. I packed some serious hentai shit and Asian anime to watch at school, and the boys would surround me. I was way ahead of anybody in the class by being a weeb supplier. Mind you, back then it was for iOS. You can download anime with subtitles and shit, and for Thai, it's kind of hard to find. Okay, back on the game. Daisy did it again, a back hug. They also need a suggestion from the maid, which she then recommended them to the beach. The hotel can provide swimsuit, so they went to the beach. They breathed from the bag again. She's going for a surprise, but our man actually counter her, which make her disappointed. Daisy then goes for a swim, then she was like drowning in the water, which prompted our protagonist to jump in, but turns out it was only 3 feet deep. The protagonist doesn't know how to swim, by the way. After that, they play around with water with each other. They had their time, then they go back to the sand. They were talking about making memories in this moment, in the resort, before they part ways forever. It makes you think really about memories we made with someone. If it was good or even great, you will remember it for a really long time. It was a heartfelt conversation between the two, but something is reaching out from the sand. It's the nothing, asking for water and saying some stuff. The protagonist then prompts Daisy to back up, call the maid and the robot to help him. The maid and the robot quickly take care of the nothing. It wanted to be captured, and as an apology, the maid gives them a ticket to the dessert store, which prompts them to talk about how these things aren't affordable by normal people or civil servant. Only a child of government official would be able to have these. And that if they don't enhance their brain, they won't be able to find a good job after college. Intriguing indeed. They go outside for a stroll. She wanted to climb the tower, and there she goes, hugging him from the back again. This time, she looks kind of sad, but returns to her normal self. They then proceed to climb the tower. Our protagonists are struggling here, but they made it just on time for the night view. She then yells something, because if we somewhere high, we should yell, right? And yell some questionable stuff. I'll show this just for you, maniacs. Suddenly, the firework bursts out behind them. It is off-season for the resort, but they still do this kind of thing. I think they do it every time it's the leader's birthday. This is a crucial scene. He said he loves her, and then she turns around and said, "I love you too." The writing here is pretty good. I like it. The next day, it was, well, their last moment together. Him leading the way and towards the car that will pick him up to college, so he can work for the country, just like the rest of the people. She hugged him from behind again, and this time it was tighter, and she held on for quite a while. It was quite an emotional moment. I realized to myself too, the time are limited and it's unique to all of us, and we hold on to it. We hold on to memories we've made in the past and seeking it to make more in the future while living it in the moment. And 40 years have gone by. We retired, and for some reason, we came back to this place. Not exactly remember why I felt nostalgic. Seems like our protagonist had some issue with his memories. Whether by choice or not, we don't know, but he re-experienced this place, mentioning to the maid whether she's the same one that he knew 40 years ago, and she said no, but every maid would have a look and sound the same. She would look like her senior, and her junior would look and sound just like her. Alas, we back here to this hotel once again, though without much thought. We're going to climb the tower once again. We stop halfway through, as people climbing up to see the view of the virtual resort. We're here. The view is as beautiful as ever, even if it isn't real. The firework lit up the skies. We started to cry, and other people mistook us for being a patriot because when there's firework, it's the leader's birthday. red firework light up nicely, reminding us of someone who we ought to remember. But we didn't. We felt something from behind, but when we turned back, there was nothing there. Project lingering, and now we have unlocked fragrance. What could this mean? Well, we'll see. The days has been counting down from day 7 to day 4, just like in the previous chapter, which I totally overlooked. But this only makes sense with the last story. Though for context, it's most likely the day when Daisy and the protagonist were apart from each other. We are seeing the repeat scene on the resort entrance, where and when they part away from each other, the Thai hug make the protagonist cough, and coughing he does. Turn out it was some kind of memories. What is this surgery? Didn't we age like 40 years and forgot about her already? Well, we are taking control of someone else, but the same memory is still lingering with us. What could this mean? We are talking to someone who is, suffice to say, is dying. He is coughing up blood, and we are in the place where nothing left. We call this guy NBA because of some sport. Does he have a name? He doesn't remember. We need batteries from him though. I almost had a fight with NBA, but he gave up pretty easily. I won't drag on for too long. This section is kind of boring. It's just about guys who make speech on how they are free and not just workers of society, even if they are called nothing. But basically, our current protagonist here wanted those batteries for his taser, so when the leftover food got dumped here, he can taste young people, because he's a veteran. He's slow, but he knows how to do things. He got some food, packed in his coat pocket. Most of it isn't preserved food. Once we're done, we're back at the pile of garbage. I mean, he's still in the place, but he moved away from the food dump. And the guy who's called Super Bowl, who was preaching and giving a speech before all this, wanted to trade. He wanted preserved food in trade for some cakes. We hesitated for a moment, but eventually traded it with him and have a banter. The cake gave us some nostalgia. Did we ever have cake like this before with someone that we forgot about? It doesn't matter. We are going up. We are going to go through the sewage system because we wanted to die there. It took us days, but we surfaced. The resort is set to nighttime right now. We ask for help, for water, and this little girl helps us up for real. She even gives us water. Isn't she going to call the robot to get us apprehended? She asked quite a dozen questions, like who we are, where we are from, what we are, but she showed no sign of hostility, only curiosity. We come to die on a very specific place. The tower. We climb it together with the girl. We struggle a lot, coughing up blood, but we made it. We talk about a lot of things, including Daisy that we know of, like the fact that she'll hug us from behind when she's sad. We are here to relive such memory about love. The fireworks fires up again, and it creates a decent picture of her, pink with a smile on her face, facing our loved ones. The little girl hugged us from behind. She said she wanted to try, even though we warned her that we might carry disease. She doesn't mind. We reliving our moment and the time we had in the trash place, junkyard. We knew what true happiness is. We gone soft, quiet. The girl is curious of us as to why, but there's no answer. No answer to it at all. Project Fragrance end. And then we unlock nothing. The finale and the truth. One day left. We are talking to a security bot. Arresting us? Who knows? But we might be guilty of something. We are reliving the moment again with Daisy, but this time there's an orange text, as if someone is narrating this. And to be clear, I'm not talking about Charnyte. Me, myself, is in-game narrator. The narrator skip moments that aren't important, skipping part up to the tower, the fireworks shows, and then enough. This place has been our office for 40 years. The maid clean and take care of this room. They work any task except doing our work. What is our work? Creating. We are the writer, and we write memories for something that is called exam. The lingering fragrance is an exam written by us. He goes on about produce and product of society. It goes back and forth, but I won't drag you along with this. Just know that he's talking about him being the product of society, whom produce more product, worker of society. We are a rare one, because we are a writer, working and civil duty in a resort. The maid take care of us, including sexual needs. They got replaced every now and then, but they all look the same, sound the same, and do the same job as their seniors. We are going for a stroll, and we met a familiar face, not for writer, for us, the player, and the viewers. We asked a dozen questions about her, but she sounded rather robotic. Even her replies are empty. We took her to a dessert shop, but forgot that our account has been frozen because we are about to get arrested. We called her Daisy, which she responded nicely to that. We are taking her to the beach. On a closer look, the writer says something about her not being well. A real senior government official's daughter, but rather a product for them to keep, so she doesn't age nor mature. She's very plastic. The lingering fragrance will be over, and another will replace this as an exam. Its time is, well, nearly over. We asked her to hug us from behind, but we shrugged it off as a joke. Then we remember about her, about Daisy, ever since the day that we have experienced each other. Love. We decided to put her in our script, the implanted memories to the previous two protagonists. Yeah, I didn't expect the plot to go like this. I thought it would be like the DLC maybe, but it never did come. Although we did call this girl Daisy, she isn't the same Daisy that we fall in love with. To be honest, I have no idea why the writer would do that. It's a bit weird. Maybe he lingers for the past. He seeks love from a product that just call her name by his sex name? I'm not sure, and I have no explanation for any of that. But it is a bit creepy to love a little girl considering the writer is a lot older, even if she stopped aging with her appearance ages ago. We love her, but she just doesn't understand. Maybe it's better that way. We go to the bridge. Ask her whether she loves her parent or not. No comment. Does she love us? She doesn't know. Not bad. Not a no comment. Yeah, the writer is kind of creepy here. It cut to the scene where we are talking with a security robot, asking us why we love without submitting application for it. It's illegal in this great country, asking us why we choose to love. We answer, we don't need a reason to love someone. We just do. The bot asks why they, the high up, would produce products like us, are defective. And we said, we create. That's why we had more emotion than others. We can choose our demise. Getting re-educated and get our memory right or getting disposed of. Well, whatever. We meet Daisy once again. Take her to the beach again. Tell her to wait for us here. We'll come visit her from the sewage system. And again, asking her to hug us from behind. It fell into a deep silence. We then relive our memories, the last day that we part with her, our precious time that we never forget. Was it genuine one though? Or is it the ideal one, the one that we perfected in our so-called exam? She has real type. One lets us go. Too tight. We cough. We are in the perspective of NBA from the second story, remember? And we are dying. Perhaps we did choose to be disposed of. We are coughing up blood, talking with the second protagonist. Oh, how we used to remember him talking about his high school girlfriend. The writer thought to himself, the acid wave is coming to get us. We choose to die. And this is the way to go. Acid burn into our skin, but in our corroded eyes. Daisy, just like the lingering fragrance, hug us from behind. Feels good. Finn. Yeah, I didn't edit anything out. It's just over. The story's over. Well, if you can call it that. I'm not very smart when it comes to connecting the plot of a story. I'm pretty schizo-based myself, even though I take pills. But from what I gather, the first two stories were, well, a different person, but both were implanted lingering fragrance in their memories before one go to college and gain higher education, just to come back to the resort with distorted memory 40 years later. The second guy decided to live in the junkyard instead, and he's the one who get a hug in the back from Daisy, which the writer calls her. She did that thinking he's the writer. Perhaps she mature? Well, who knows? But the real Daisy, the one that wasn't implanted, died with the third protagonist, the writer. Though I haven't really touched on the game's message about politics or ideologies, they really lean themselves to a modern-day Chinese politics, that normal men are workers, civil duties, working for the great country, for the great leader of them all. It's a story about a dystopian world where love is prohibited unless you applicate it through application. Everything is efficient at the cost of your humanity, your precious memories, to be replaced with higher education so you can work better. You either choose to get educated by the government or live life of a hobo. Become different from others, faceless corporate workers. But what's the point of implanted memories? It was mentioned that it would help the person dictate their choice better. So perhaps it is to determine a person whether he'll accept the deal with the devil himself, or maybe a red and blue pill would work better in this situation. Keeping the memories or do as you order to, without the free fingers, the freedom to live, to love, without a need for reason to do it. All the Daisy we saw are from a memory of the writer, though how accurate she is to who she really was when we met her and loved her, that we may never know for certain. I got to be honest with you, the writing or translation might be a bit off, though I can grasp the most of it. In the end, it still feels sloppy. The game message is all about love, whether it's fiction or not, whether it's the relationship, hobbies, or work, and freedom to love yourself, love your memories, love your written works, kind of like what I'm doing right now, writing, narrating, editing the video so it becomes the product, so you can consume it, my own lingering fragrance. Perhaps we all have Daisy in our mind, just to keep us going. Daisy is not a person, it's an unrealized love. A writer, huh? Such titles so fitting with me. The game is not that deep, but it's quite interesting on its own. And for the first time that I finished the game, it took me a while to realize the story, realize the love. I have unironically made my own exam, my own Daisy, as it will be replaced by other exams too, other videos. We make things just so things can change. Sometimes it becomes stagnant. It becomes a memory, a lingering fragrance. You feel it, you know it, but you don't exactly realize it. We become part of the system to move the cogs in the machine, to become it, and work the society that we live in. That's the fate for most of us, I'm afraid. But if you can watch this video, you still have liberty left in you, your freedom of choices. To watch this video to perhaps realize your love for something or someone. That's the end of my exam. Didn't expect to write over 4,000 words. No 14 pages. Never mind narrating and editing it into a video. People better be watching it. I spent like at least a week on this video alone. Mostly just the writing part. So, maniacs, show me what you think about the video down below. It's free. Subscribe and receive. That's my motto. Like the video too, I guess. You can support me one time on Ko-fi at the least of $3 and monthly at the least of $1. I'm not gonna ask for too much. Trust me, it used to be worse. Term and condition may apply. I'll tell you this though. Once I'm able to make at least $1,000 per month, you would receive so much more content. IRL content, cooking, fashion. I want to cross-dress, and my grant is enough to rent a decent house and live a decent life. Thank you all for watching. I love all of you. Oh yeah, don't ever forget about your Daisy.